Hey everyone, it's Jason Paepke. I want to present my servant leadership project to you. So let's go through some of the details here and have an example at the end of something that might be something I would do in one of my sessions. First of all, my goals for this are to provide development opportunities for my school staff in the area of educational technology, and also to support fellow teachers with creative ideas for teaching their classes and getting students more engaged. My hope is that by raising the teachers level a little bit, we can also find a higher level of student engagement with creative ideas for learning and getting more involved in the process. A couple of strategies for me will be focusing on providing periodic after-school sessions to either introduce new tools or go into more in-depth training over things we've already talked about in previous sessions, or answer questions that people might have. The other part of that would be classroom visits. It's something I've wanted to do for a while now because I know the value of seeing other people teach, but making the time has not been a very big priority. So I want to get into some classrooms and learn what other teachers are doing, and then also hopefully find some ways that maybe I can give them some feedback on what might help them increase student creativity, increase the creativity of their own lessons, and those sorts of things. So a couple of different customer profiles or target audience. One would be teachers obviously looking for new ways to assess their students rather than just multiple choice, the usual type tests, trying to find new ways to let students demonstrate their learning. And then the other side of that would be teachers looking for creative ways to present their content and what new things might be out there for them to change up and get away from just the standard PowerPoint notes and things like that. So for assessment options, some of the things I'll be looking at are video assessments. Would be things like iMovies, Adobe Spark, stop motion videos, green screen, which is now a part of iMovie, and Flipgrid. And so those are some things that would allow students to present their learning in a different way other than just taking a test. And then possibly even get in a little coding. Used Scratch this year a little bit, and the kids really liked it. And for some kids, it's a real perfect fit for them to try and create their own assessments. And under content, obviously we have some things that are pretty standard now, I think at this point, Nearpod, Edpuzzle. One of my students introduced me to a different one called Mentimeter, and it was pretty good as I looked at it. I've not used it, but certainly another option that is web-based, so it's free, and could be something that teachers find is a good fit for their class. My action plan would look like this. My goal is to provide an initial survey to find out what staff would want to have presented. What do they want to learn about? I would give a preset list of options so that we at least have some things narrowed down and find out what the most important topics are. And then as we progress through the year, teachers could suggest some other things they'd like to learn about. Maybe they hear about something from another teacher in their content area and want to learn more about it, or just, like I said, want further in-depth information about something they're already using. So my hope is to just be a resource for those teachers to help them learn more about the tools that are available. There's some things that I want to present in a certain pattern. I guess you'd call that, for creative arts, there are some creation apps that are pretty cool. PE always has a hard time figuring out how to integrate technology because obviously the nature of that course is not sitting in desks and working. And then for all staff, there's some great video apps, which I've already mentioned. And then social studies, Google has some new things on Google Earth that allow them to do some exploring and virtual field trips. So what I'd like to do is go through some of these apps with those specific teachers when they attend so that we can introduce them to new things. So, for the creative classes, there are some creation apps like Stop Motion, Animation Desk, and a new one that I'm really trying to learn about is AR Maker. It's an augmented reality app that lets you create an augmented reality scene or video in whatever setting. You can do it in your classroom. They can do it on their desk. So it's a pretty cool tool that I'm still learning a lot about. For PE, now the iPhone I know has a native app that's called Health. I would guess that that Google has one as well on their Android devices. A lot of kids have Garmin's now, and those can be used to download fitness information of what they're doing in their activities and can be used in class. And then there's an app that actually measures your heart rate using the device camera. And so again, just finding ways to get technology integrated into PE a little bit might be something they want to use. For all staff, again, I mentioned iMovie has a green screen or picture-in-picture option now, and also Adobe Spark, very good web-based resource to create videos of website style presentations. And then Stop Motion. I use Stop Motion quite a bit in my class for some projects we do. This would be things like Lego Movie or claymation, where you create lots of pictures and then they string together into a video format. And as I mentioned, social studies using Google Earth, trying to do virtual field trips. There's a new thing called Google Explorations. And there's even Street View underwater, so you can look at things like a coral reef or some other areas that normally you wouldn't see because they are not above ground. And so here's a sample video of something I created. It is very unfinished, as I might say. It's rough, but it's something I threw together really quick to kind of give some example of how iMovie has added some features that are pretty cool. It's about 5 minutes. I don't know that you need to watch the whole 5-minute video, but you could kind of skim through and see some of the different things I did. It's set up as an introductory video for my classes for this coming school year. So it's kind of introducing some of the projects we would do and would be something that I might send out to my students to kind of get them excited about what we're going to be doing in class. I'm going to play a little bit of it here for you so that you can kind of see some of the features that are good. And actually, I'm going to click over here and go to one that I already have loaded. Your phone is called Flipgrid, and maybe you've used it before, but I will introduce it and show you how to use it. And that way you can, so I use Flipgrid to do student introductions before the school year. I have kids submit a video of themselves, giving me some detail about their summer, what team they were on in 6th grade, all that stuff, so I can get to know them a little bit. And then I go through some project things here. So this is some footage I took of an organism from my saltwater tank in my classroom. We looked at it under the microscope. So pretty cool chance to see something that you really would never see otherwise. And these are some. This is a stop motion video that my kids did over the cell cycle, and shows the step-by-step of how the cell cycle works. This is a feature called Picture-in-Picture, where obviously I'm talking to the camera, but also talking to the blue screen video there. So again, a new feature iMovie has added, and you could overlay some background video, and it would show up on the blue screen. Here's again a project that I do, so I'm showing the kids what kind of projects they'll be doing, and this is one we do that's kind of like Magic School Bus, where they shrink themselves down inside a human body. and then our big projects. So I made this video, like I said, very quickly, just to show how you could use blue screen technology to create. Here's a little bit of that blue screen effects of stuff I did this summer. You can see I did not wear the correct color shirt because it's pulling the blue out of my shirt and turning it into video, but still pretty cool use of blue screen video there. So I think that this would be kind of an example of how I might help teachers learn a little bit about some of the new tools that students have available to them on their iPad. And yeah, so hopefully some of that makes sense to you. And thanks for watching.